One day, your heart suddenly aches. You don't even know why. A sentence, a face, a moment of silence, and somewhere deep inside, a pain begins. In that moment, everything feels heavy. Again? Why always me, you whisper? But Rumi says, pain is a guest sent to open a new door within you. That ache is not a coincidence. It's an invitation, a hidden call from the truth. Because the heart does not awaken without hurting, and every awakening arrives after a breaking. In Rumi's world, pain is not the enemy. It is the teacher, the greatest teacher. We don't learn while everything is easy. We learn when we lose, not when we laugh, but when we cry. So Rumi reminds us, be mindful of the broken heart. That is where the light enters. Your pain is not weakness. It is how Allah enters your heart. That ache is the door opening, and that door leads you back to yourself. Most people run from pain. I can't handle this. I don't deserve this. But Rumi says, the pain sent to you is measured exactly for your growth. No suffering is random. Pain shapes you, refines you, like earth being softened by rain. If soil rejects the rain, it becomes desert. If it accepts it, life grows. Your heart is the same. The pain that falls like rain is preparing a new life within you. Rumi says pain is a door, but it doesn't open outward. It opens inward. You think life is happening outside of you, but the truth says, I transform you from within. So when your heart tightens, it is a sign of inner expansion on the way. Something must collapse so something true can be born. Every birth begins with pain. A newborn cries entering this world, and that cry is its first breath of life. Your heart's ache is the same, your soul being born again. A new awareness is emerging inside you, but the mind mistakes it for suffering because the familiar is dissolving. Rumi says, what hurts you frees you. That pain breaks a chain, separates you from an old version of yourself. It's difficult because the old you is leaving and the new you hasn't arrived yet. So be patient. Every ache is a threshold. The heart expands not only with love, but with pain. Pain stretches the boundaries of love. Sometimes you only understand a feeling after you've been humbled by it. You feel another's sorrow only after your own heart has ached. So Rumi says, a heart that has never hurt cannot see another's heart. Pain deepens you. It makes you sensitive. You begin to understand not only yourself, but others too. You stop judging, because you learn that everyone carries a wound, and that awareness prepares the soul for love. According to Rumi, pain is the first station on the road to love. The heart must soften before love enters. As Ibn Arabi said, an emptied heart is filled by the truth. And Rumi echoes the same truth. The wound in your heart is the doorway to love. So whatever hurt you, that person, that loss, that loneliness, know this: it wasn't sent to destroy you. It is preparing you for love. Because before the heart loves, it must first break. There comes a moment when you turn inward, because Rumi says, the one who has never suffered has not yet begun the journey. The pain in your heart is proof. The path has opened. When the heart hurts, the mind grows quiet. Your thoughts search for answers but find none, because this ache lives beyond language. Rumi says, pain is where words fall silent. In that place you don't speak, you feel, and feeling leaves you alone with the truth. Your prayers even change. You no longer say, let this pain end. Instead you whisper, what is this pain here to teach me? That is when wisdom appears. Every ache carries a secret. Pain is not just an ending, it is a beginning. It opens a door in the heart long locked. Sometimes that door leads to forgiveness, sometimes to awareness, sometimes simply to tears. But it always brings something. Rumi says, pain is the soul's invitation to healing. The moment your heart hurts is the moment your soul begins to heal. You think it's sickness, but it is medicine. Which is why Rumi calls pain the healing friend, a friend that cleanses you by breaking you open. When we suffer, we hear two voices inside. One cries, "This is unfair. I can't take it." The other whispers, "Wait. Be still. There is meaning here." And that second voice is truth speaking. So listen to the voice of pain, says Rumi. Pain is where Allah speaks. Do not run from it. Inside the ache, His message is hidden. Sometimes He speaks not through words but through silence, and within that silence, every answer waits. And one day the pain softens, not because you forget, but because you understand. Rumi teaches, pain is not erased, it is transformed. Turn your wound into honey, he says. When you turn your ache into wisdom, the thing that once hurt you becomes the thing that shaped you. Your broken heart becomes a sacred temple. There is no rebellion there, only gratitude. Because you realize every pain was a guest sent by the divine to cleanse your heart. And one day, the why in your soul turns into Alhamdulillah. Rumi says, to laugh, you must first cry. Joy comes after sorrow. But this joy rises not from the world, it rises from within you. Your heart expands, capable of loving deeper, understanding more. That is why Rumi calls the wounded heart sacred, because such a heart is being kneaded by the hand of Allah. Every tear is purification, and the purified heart stands closer to the truth. When a heart aches, Allah is there. He appears in the quietest moments. Rumi says, when you cry, know that Allah is washing you. Your tears are cleansing, not breaking. They dissolve what is hardened inside you. You think you are falling apart, but you are being washed clean. And after that washing, peace rises within. You are not the same heart anymore. The pain has shaped you. When a heart begins to ache, it is not just emotion, it is transformation. The soul expands only through pain. Rumi says, without burning, you do not become. This burning is not destruction. It is construction from within. The fire in the heart melts what has become stone. The ache is Allah reshaping you. And in the very moments you whisper, I can't bear this, the divine hand is molding you. A human heart stretches only through pain. Pain doesn't break the heart, it reshapes it. Think of clay. Dry and hardened, it refuses to take shape. But when touched by water, it softens, it yields. And in the hands of a master, it becomes a beautiful vessel. Rumi says, the heart is molded by tears. Every ache is like a drop of water softening you. It melts what has grown rigid inside. To pass through pain is the price of reaching your truth. In Rumi's path, pain is not punishment, it is training. When the heart aches, it is the truth speaking to you, not in words, but in states. Pain speaks silently, but its meaning is deep. Rumi teaches, sometimes he does not teach with words, but with wounds. There are lessons no book can teach, a loss, a waiting, a silence. Each one pulls you closer to the truth. When patience turns into understanding, the heart matures. And a matured heart stops looking outward and begins to see from the inside. The holiest part of pain is how it brings you inward. There comes a moment when you stop explaining your hurt. Words can't carry it anymore. So you turn inward, and there you meet the one who has been waiting. Rumi says, pain calls you back to yourself because truth lives there. The moment you fall silent and cannot explain, that is your invitation from Him. The loneliness in pain is not abandonment, it is a divine meeting. We often say, I just want to forget. But Rumi whispers, do not flee from pain, it is your guide. Pain points to what needs attention. When something hurts, you touch it. Your awareness goes there. The soul works the same way. Where your pain lives, there is something unresolved, a knot, a veil. So pain wakes you. Look here. This must be healed. The source of pain, Rumi says, is not what you lost, but what you held that was too heavy. When you hurt, you're not being diminished. A burden is being lifted. You lose someone, but perhaps they were a bond your heart couldn't carry. You lose a path, but maybe that road was pulling you away from the truth. Every ache is a knot untying. Sometimes the truth lightens you by breaking you. Rumi says, "From the wound, relief is born. Pain doesn't come to drown you. It comes to raise you. When the heart aches, its walls begin to crack, and through those cracks, light enters. Those walls were the barriers between you and truth, and now light is seeping in." Rumi says, light enters through the broken heart. So don't rush to seal the crack. Let the light come. Pain is not a door to close. It is a window to see through. That ache is the purest place where truth touches you. One day, you will look back and realize the thing that hurt you most was the thing that transformed you. What once broke you became the very wisdom that built you. Rumi says, what makes you cry today will make you laugh tomorrow. Truth always lifts you, sometimes with joy, sometimes with tears. So Rumi never sees tears as weakness, but as purification. Tears are the ablution of the heart, he says. With every tear, the heart is washed, lightness returns, and you are born again. Pain has another secret. It melts the ego. Through pain, you discover you control nothing, not your plans, not people, not time. Everything slips from your hands, and in that letting go, you finally learn who truly holds you. Loss doesn't empty you. It clears space for the divine. Rumi says, what you think you lost is actually what God gained for you. It doesn't take you away from yourself. It takes you away from illusion and returns you to truth. Pain does not impoverish you. It purifies you. You stop clinging. You begin witnessing. And that shift creates a revolution inside the soul. Deep pain softens the spirit. Where once you reacted with anger, you now simply breathe and watch, because judgment has turned into understanding. The greatest gift pain gives you is mercy. Rumi says, a heart burned by fire can warm others. You cannot warm another soul until you yourself have burned. So your pain is not only for you, it is so you may become light for others. Your ache becomes someone else's healing. We ask, why is this taking so long? But Rumi answers, God does not harvest the unripe fruit. The duration of pain is the duration of ripening. If the lesson in your heart is not complete, the ache remains. When you surrender, healing begins. Surrender isn't defeat. It's recognizing wisdom in the suffering. And slowly, the heart expands. Warmth replaces the ache, and that warmth is the presence of the divine entering your chest. Sometimes pain calls you back to prayer. You were silent for a long time, but pain teaches the tongue to tremble again. Rumi says, pain is the voice of prayer. Even when you don't speak, your tears speak. They carry what words cannot hold. You may not raise your hands, but your heart is already open. And Allah hears the prayer of the heart. So, when you hurt, know this. You are praying. Your silent ache is surrender. There comes a moment when pain itself becomes peace. It no longer drains you. It reminds you. It does not take you away from Him. It draws you near. Rumi says, pain is the shadow of union. For the hearts Allah wants to bring near, He first breaks them, because only a broken heart is soft enough for His gaze. Then your pain becomes worship. Even your ache becomes sacred, because it came from His hand. And when a heart truly burns, there is no room left for ordinary love. That fire is a passage from worldly love to divine love. At first it feels like loss, a separation, a breaking, a missing piece. But Rumi says, separation is only what appears. In truth, it is union. You may lose someone, but you find the source of love. You may lose a friend, but you learn the truth of companionship. Pain carries you to the essence of love, and that essence belongs not to a human, but to Allah. To run from pain is to run from love, for true love requires endurance. Rumi says, love is another name for patience. Where there is true love, there will always be a gentle ache, because love pulls you out of your small self into something vast. In love, I fades, you fades, and only love remains. Rumi says, in divine love, one of the two selves disappears. That disappearance hurts, but it is also birth. An ego dies, and a soul is born. The ache in your heart is the labor pain of love. Without it, real love is never known. Rumi says, love breaks the heart so that God may enter. Your heart was so full of the world there was no room for the divine. So pain came, and the heart cracked. Every tear carried away what no longer belonged in you. And then one morning, without knowing why, you woke with a quiet peace inside. The pain was still there, but what it meant had changed. It was no longer a wound. It had become worship, because within that ache, the divine had settled. Divine love begins with a person, but it does not end in a person. You fall in love with someone, but that love lifts you so high that soon the person disappears, and the one who created love becomes the center. Rumi says, the true lover moves from form to meaning. The beloved is only a means. They call you toward love, but only Allah completes that love. When we forget this, we cling to the vessel instead of the ocean. And when the vessel leaves, we think love has died. But Rumi reminds, when the lover loses the beloved, he finds love itself. Love never belonged to a person. It was always divine light appearing through them. When that light rises again in your heart, even pain becomes a prayer. To suffer for love is its purest form, because in that place there is no possession, no demand, only burning. Rumi says, love is burning and rising new from the ashes. This fire does not destroy, it purifies. You no longer tire from loving because love's meaning has changed. To love someone now is to remember Allah. And when you ache, you remember Him again. Love and pain flow as one, like breath and prayer. When one ends, the other begins. Both lead you back to Him. Rumi calls the heart's ache a breath, a whisper from the divine. When your heart breaks, Allah is saying, I am still here. You drifted into the world and forgot, so pain placed its hand on your shoulder, gently turning you back, like a mother pulling her child close. Rumi says, pain is God calling you back to Him. To pray in the middle of pain is to answer His invitation. Pain also frees you. The heart silently attaches itself to 1,000 things: people, expectations, pride, past wounds, and as those ties grow, the heart grows heavy. So Allah cuts those bonds. We call it pain, but Rumi calls it freedom. The breaking of a bond is the beginning of liberation. What slips from your hands is not punishment. It is Allah making you lighter. He removes not only what you hold, but the need to hold, and the space left open fills with His presence. Divine love is patience at its deepest level. Allah teaches not in an instant, but through unfolding. Rumi says, patience is the key to love. When the heart endures pain, it expands. Patience turns pain sweet, because if you look at suffering with patience, a light emerges from within it. The impatient heart sees only darkness. The patient heart sees the light behind it, and once that light appears, it never fades, because it illuminates the soul from within. To love is to accept burning. Love is fire, and without burning, you never truly mature. Rumi says, love is fire. The one who has not burned has not ripened. So the one who fears pain will never taste the secret of love. The cost of love is to burn, but this burning does not destroy you. It dissolves the I, and what remains is only love. In the heart of pain, instead of torment, you find purification. And suddenly you understand, love is not an ending, love is a birth. In Rumi's teaching, love is not just a feeling, it is a force that transforms your entire being. Once you have truly loved, you can never see the world the same again. Even pain becomes beautiful. Even a wound carries divine meaning, because your sight has changed. Allah educated your heart, and that education exists in no school on earth. Each ache was part of the lesson. One day you will say, thank God I hurt. Thank God I burned. Because without the burning you would never have felt so deeply, prayed so sincerely, or understood another heart so compassionately. Rumi says, the heart that has hurt becomes the pen of the divine. Such a heart no longer speaks with words. It writes with mercy, gentleness, and love. Even silent, it influences. Because the heart has been inscribed by truth, pain is no longer your enemy. It becomes your guide. When you feel a subtle ache, you don't run. You bow your head and listen, because you know there is a message within it. Rumi says, pain is a letter written in the language of the heart. Every ache is a line from Allah, but you must read it with tears, and while you cry, know that He is reading you. That is why Rumi calls pain a friend, because a true friend brings you closer to Allah, and pain brings you closest of all. When the heart accepts burning, fear disappears, because burning is not dying, it is being reborn. Rumi says, burn, but do not become ash. Burn and stay alive. Burn and still love. Pain is not meant to harden you, it is meant to soften you. Soon you feel tenderness even toward those who hurt you, because you sense their pain too. That compassion is the fruit of love, and it is sweet. Even pain tastes sweet, because He is inside it. From the ashes of your suffering a new heart rises, a heart that beats only for Allah. And in such a heart, fear has no home, loneliness has no space. Only peace, only love. One day, your heart still aches, but the ache no longer burns. What once shattered you now gathers you, because you have learned the language of pain. Now when ache arrives, you recognize it. Rumi says, if your heart still aches, know that Allah is there. Pain is not a sign of absence, it is a sign of presence. When pain touches your heart, you no longer rebel. You know it is the divine hand still at work. And from inside the burning, a calm rises. This calm is Rida, divine acceptance. Rida is pain ripened into wisdom. It is the highest station of the heart. There is no why me anymore. Only what beauty is hidden here. Rumi says, Rida is the consciousness that turns pain into honey. What once exhausted you now elevates you. Nothing can pull you down, because you see His hand in everything. Pain turns into light inside you. To see light in pain is the heart's enlightenment. When Rita settles in the heart, you stop fighting destiny. Rumi says, "Destiny is a letter from Allah. Do not reject it before reading." Do not judge what life brings before understanding its wisdom. Every ache carries a message. Maybe it's showing you something about yourself. Maybe it's saving you from a wrong path and guiding you to the right one. Then life becomes meaningful. Nothing breaks you anymore, because everything brings you closer to Him. When patience meets pain, the result is healing, not of the body, but of the soul. Rumi says, "Patience is the divine medicine within suffering. Pain does not swallow you. It transforms you." With every moment of patience, a new root grows deep in your heart, anchoring you in Allah, the way a tree anchors deeper in every storm. You once asked, "Why me?" Now you say, "This was written for me." That shift, that acceptance, is spiritual maturity. Rumi says, "The one who is patient with pain is near to gratitude." Patience is the first step to gratitude. And now you can thank Allah even inside loss, because you know that pain matured you. You no longer call it your enemy, you call it your teacher. When pain has finished its work, you don't return to who you were, you return to who you truly are. It refined you, softened you, and brought you back to your essence. According to Rumi, a heart that has passed through suffering sees the world differently. It sees meaning in everything, in a stone, in silence, in a single human face. Because now the eye of the heart is open, and the heart that sees with the heart finds beauty even inside pain. So the one who has walked through fire does not ask, "Why did this happen?" They say, "It happened because it needed to." Wisdom is the final gift of pain. The ache turns into awareness. The wound turns into knowledge. Healing begins the moment you stop rejecting your pain. What you resist remains. What you accept flows and frees you. Rumi says, "Love your pain. It is your teacher." Resisting pain gives it power, but when you whisper, "This too is part of me," it shrinks, and instead of crushing you, it purifies you. When the heart heals, you no longer blame anyone. You understand everything came from Him. Even the one who broke you was a tool of the divine, not to harm you, but to humble you, soften you, return you. Rumi says, "The one who breaks is the one who heals." So you stop fighting life. You stop arguing with destiny. You don't look at events anymore. You look at meaning, and meaning brings peace. You no longer ask why, you ask, "How can I be grateful through this?" The gift of sorrow is expansion. Small things don't tear you apart anymore. A look, a criticism, a rejection, none of them shake you. Your heart is too wide now. Rumi says, "A vast heart carries troubles as rain carries mercy." Your heart becomes like the ocean. Whatever falls into it dissolves in its peace. Pain didn't make you stone, it made you water. And water adapts, absorbs, purifies, and nothing can stain it. After pain, the soul reaches stillness, not numbness, but clarity. Life still touches you, but it cannot break you, because you found your center. Rumi says, "The wind cannot uproot the tree whose roots are in the truth." Storms may rage outside, but your inner garden is calm. This is the highest gift of suffering, peace. In that peace, the past loses its weight and the future loses its fear. There is only this moment, and Allah is in this moment. Pain breaks the chains that tied you to yesterday. Regret melts. Worry disappears. You realize everything came at the right time and everything left at the right time. Not by your power, but by His. At this point, you no longer suffer. You witness. The heart may still burn, but the mind rests in silence. This is Rumi's divine stillness, the end of love's journey. When you reach the source, pain and joy lose their names, because all that remains is pure being. And one day you look back at the moments your heart ached and you say, "That pain opened every door for me." A loss taught you to pray. A rejection brought you back to yourself. Loneliness brought you to Allah. Rumi says, "Pain is the guide of the path." And now, at the end of that path, you are no longer walking, you are flowing. There is no effort anymore, because all veils between you and him have fallen. The ache was not there to punish you, it was there to peel away illusion. Pain did not destroy you, it revealed you. And now you see, pain was never your enemy. Pain made you human. Pain made you gentle. Pain gave you mercy. Rumi says, "The heart that aches the most loves the most." You now love purely, because love rose out of the wound. Without pain, your heart could never have grown this vast. So now you bow to your ache with gratitude. It is a sacred memory, a divine visitation. Pain introduced you to Allah. If your heart has ever hurt, know this: a door was opening. Rumi says, "The heart breaks so the divine can enter." What you thought was punishment was an invitation. Every ache carried you closer to him, and now the pain has ended, but you have changed. You are soft, you are wise, you are surrendered, your heart hurt, and so your heart opened. And in that opening, he found you. If your heart aches today, do not fear. It means his light is entering.